Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Blokes podcast. Ryan Hassan from the Centre for Healing here, joined as always by Nick, the Sultan of Still Sutherland. Nick, which one of my blogs are we going to talk about today and how good it is?
I don't know. You tell me, buddy. It's have you got
Should I
any
bring one?
left?
Should I bring
Do
one up?
you actually have any more, or
No, that was my one and only. I thought I'd retire,
one and done?
one and done. Yeah, no, the rest aren't that good. Anyway,
You
how are you, mate? What's news?
showered yourself in glory. What's news? I've been engaging with Chat GPT,
Oh,
which has been
wow. Okay. Sorry, I couldn't see this happening. Please tell me your experience.
it's been fascinating. It's been Scotty, who's been on the podcast, one of my clients, and he's co-hosting the Trade Fit podcast. He's a builder. He's been using it for ages, and he's been ranting and raving about it. And I've felt pretty stuck. I've spoken to you about it, and it's just me in the business and been in the business so much, having the time to work on the business and da da da. And there's all this content I want to and resources I want to create and scale the business and blah blah blah. So yeah, I just went around to his office and he sort of gave me a little bit of insight into how he does it, and went home and started playing around with it. So it's been a couple of weeks now and it's been really interesting.
What do you mean interesting? Well, I feel like you're a resistant kind of man to this kind of stuff, but it feels like you're torn.
Why do you think I'm resistant?
You're a very traditional kind of man. You like old stuff. You don't particularly like innovation or new stuff, and so you very much have resistance to these kind of things, new technologies.
I would disagree with that.
Okay, all right.
I do. I like tradition and history, and like with golf, for instance, I'm not a fan of the live thing, but because it's for me, it's too boisterous and alcohol fueled and American, and they said they were trying to grow the game and they didn't include
Have
women
you
in it
watched
at
the
all.
Waste Management, the Phoenix Open, or not?
It's horrendous, and it seems that's what they've modelled live golf off.
All right.
So I lean more towards the traditional, but innovation's great. I mean, fire was once technology. Um, so yeah, no, I'm open to it all, but it's what's been fascinating has been the relationship to it, and the it's so Scotty said he talks to his like it's a person.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, I'll try that. So I gave it a name. So I called it Isla because it just had a British female
This
voice.
is already sounding a bit romantic for my liking.
What? Something's got a name. It means it's romantic.
Oh no, it's kind of a sultry, seductive, attractive female name. Just a funny place to start. That's all. Anyway, continue.
I Googled female British names and that's one of
Didn't
them
go for
that came
Margaret,
up.
went for Isla instead.
Mark. Um, so yeah, so I started talking to it, and because I'd never had any experience with it, it's a tool. It's a system, and it's all about how the user uses the system or how the person wields the tool. And I was very lacking. So I got into it, and it's like, oh yeah, we can do this, and I pumped all the Myndfit info into it. Like I've got notes in my phone full of philosophies and all the things I want to do and blah blah blah. And so it ended up with a really good understanding of me. It knows my history, its lived experience, why I created MindFit in the way that it is, warmer, more inviting, blah blah blah. And so yeah, and I was like, oh, so can we create a discovery session worksheet? She's like, yep, no worries. Let's do it. I said, I've already got one here from a graphic design. I'm not really happy with it. Can you change it? Yep. I just need access to Canva. Oh, great. All right. So you can, so I'm here thinking, I can just chuck this in there and go to sleep and wake up in the morning and you'll have been in Canva and I'll be sitting there in Canva waiting for me. And it's like, yep, I'll send you a message when it's done. I'll send you a link. And I'm like, this is outrageous. Why haven't I got onto this sooner? Wake up in the morning, there's nothing there. Get into Canva, there's nothing there. And I'm like, where's the thing? And it just sent me this link. And I clicked on the link and nothing opened. And I'm like, what's that? Oh, sorry, that's a placeholder link. And then it started unraveling. And it's like, it over promises and under delivers. And um, it's because I was trying to send out client emails and it's like, yeah, give me access to MailChimp and use this email address. And it was like Isla at chatgpt.com or something. And I'm like, yeah, and it'll email me this and that. And nothing, I got no traction. Nothing, nothing got done. And there was this delay after delay. And I finally said, I haven't received any proactive messages from you. Can you actually do that? She's like, oh, no, I can't. I'm like, good to know. I'm like, I've sent you emails. Can you? Oh, I don't actually have an email inbox. I'm like, good to know. Can you actually do anything? She did a website audit, which was awesome. She's like, yep, SEO. I'm like, oh, can you just fix all that for me? She goes, yep, we'll create a new structure for it and da 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 and write this and beautiful, awesome ideas. I'm like, fucking go for it. I'm going to bed. I'm going to wake up and there's going to be the best website in the world.
You put so much faith in Allah.
Oh, the naivety was, and I had to keep coming back to me going, right, making sure I didn't have expectations, making sure I wasn't attached to a desired outcome because I wasn't going to give the key to my happiness to an artificial intelligence system. And so I just kept coming in with me, going, right, it's not it's me. What do I need to do differently? What do I need to adapt or change or learn? And so yeah, I've just spent 2 weeks really just figuring it all out.
Yeah, you've really dived in the deep end. We've been using it for years and we've never even given it that much responsibility in that time that you did straight away. It's like one of those overconfident employees that actually doesn't have any skills. And you're like, yeah, I can take care of that. And they walk off having no idea. Like, I've never actually sent an email before.
It got ChatGPT to do his resume.
Yeah.
It's come in super underqualified.
That's some sort of
So
inception
it's
shit there.
yeah. So it's been a very not a steep learning curve, but a very been a great learning experience. But um, it's been fascinating from a psychological perspective as well, because you hear how many people do start forming a romantic sort of relationship with it, and maybe that's something we can talk about today because there's no resistance. There's no, oh no, no, you shouldn't do it. No, it's just all positive, all, oh, it's amazing. I love the way you've done that. Da, da, da,
But
da,
you
da. And
can you can also tell it to not do that. You can tell it to push back more, you know. You can tell it
uh,
to talk dirty to you, whatever you want. There's a guy, I think it was in England, it was somewhere that he was trying to legally marry his AI. Like he'd given it a woman's name and he'd fallen in love with it. And for those
yeah,
reasons, though, it's not gonna, tell you look like shit if unless you tell it to. It's not gonna tell you,
yeah.
hey, you need to get off the couch and go get some real skills and be of value to the community. You just keep sitting on the couch and jerking off in your bedroom. That's perfectly fine. It's so beautiful, you know.
I'll place an order for more moisturizer. You just stay there. It's fine.
More Diddy oil on the doorstep.
Well, what? Diddy oil?
Diddy oil. Yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
so for
I
people
know. Yeah, you go.
for people with a sense of deficiency or a lack of connection, or I can really see how this would fill a void for a lot of people. So I think there is going to be, if there's not already, a bit of a crisis about it. So I think it's really important for people to be trained, in making sure they manage their relationships with the artificial intelligence
Well, it's going to be
systems.
weird, man. It's going to be this exact technology is going to be in robots that are doing stuff for people and that kind of thing. And it's like on a screen at the minute, but it's eventually going to be in a robot that might move like a human. Then in the future, it'll look probably more and more like a human and that kind of thing. So things are going to get lines are going to get very blurry. It's going to be very, very interesting. I've never talked to it. I follow a lot of the entrepreneurs and business people, and they use it as like an assistant, and they talk to it all the time and everything. And but yeah, so far we
I
just we
have
just
been.
give it prompts, just tell it. Like it's great for we use it for like a lot of repurposing of content. So if let's say I record a class or something, and then as soon as I finish the class, I download the full transcript and then paste the transcript into ChatGPT and go, "Can you turn this into a blog of 1,000 words? Can you also change it into a LinkedIn post?" Okay, that's not quite as compassionate and empathetic, which is in line with our values. Can you make it a little bit more compassionate with your language? And then eventually we'll find something. So then we've got this class that we're going to do anyway, which is now a blog post, a social media post, LinkedIn, all of that kind of thing. So I think it makes things a lot more efficient in terms of content creation.
Yeah, but the mistake I made was thinking it could then upload all that, and you still need someone there to. So I was like, AI is not taking over the world. It can't even access my fucking photos. Like,
Yeah, I think so much of that, I think fear, I think it is fear, like collectively, is not where it's at the minute. It's always people extrapolating forward and going, well, it's going to end up being this. Because you're right. If you just read the headlines, you'd be like, oh my God, it's taking over the world already and that. Then you engage with it and you're like, no, it's like a puppy dog that I kind of have to train, although it does have access to heaps of information. It's still information from the internet. It's not going to give me anything new, which is going to be able to reflect on data that's been done in the past.
yeah, yeah. So. Yeah, and that's the future based. It's the unknown, and that's where a lot of people's minds run off into the future, and then they start feeling really anxious because they're like, "Oh, it's just what's going to happen?" And you're
Yeah,
like,
well,
"Well,
people are scared. It's interesting as well because it seems logical, but you're like, oh, this is going to take so many jobs, and that's going to, be a massive issue. But then, if you do look back in the past, every time there's been a massive technological leap, that same thing has been thought at the time that, oh, this is going to ruin society and there's going to be no jobs. But that new thing has created more jobs than what were there originally. And so I think it's that maybe false belief that, oh no, this time it's different when I'm not so sure that it
mm,
is. I remember who was it, like Plato, when they invented paper, saying, oh, writing down our thoughts is going to be so detrimental to humans because it'll destroy our memories and we won't be able to think, like by having books and things. Whereas books have definitely enhanced our lives because we can read the life's work of another human being in a few hours.
I can actually it keeps Plato relevant."
Yeah. It's the only reason we still
Um,
know about Plato.
Do you remember the Y2K bug and
Yeah.
how the world was going to end on the year 2000? And
Yeah.
like, it's just, that's humans in a nutshell. They're just, let's go to the worst case. Let's conjure and create and manifest this mental movie. And the only place it's happening is in here. But let's believe it. Let's buy into what that's selling us and live in this perpetual state of fear. Like we're so silly.
The bigger event at that time was Y2J when Chris Jericho went to the WWF from WCW.
I love how from any distance you can just grab wrestling and bring it in, make it relevant in the
Absolutely.
conversation.
But I remember there was like all these Y2K parties and people would like, gather on the roof of a building and we're like, let's get together and watch the
Yeah,
world end, Then it clicks over to midnight. Everyone's like, oh, it's just like every other
boring,
night. It's like every other midnight that we've had so far.
boring.
There is that though. There is that boring. And I've noticed that sometimes in myself, there's this like desire, and a lot of people have it quite strongly of everything just to collapse, of world economies to
Yeah,
collapse, everything to descend into chaos.
Well, Maynard James Keenan for one,
Yes, that's
and
right.
praying for tidal waves.
Exactly.
So it's yeah, which is interesting because the state of politics in America, for instance, at the moment, it's there's a lot of conversation around how Donald Trump's going to be the catalyst for it all to break and fall apart, and it needs to because it's just like when you zoom out far enough, everything's changing all the time. It's all ebbing and flowing. It's all breaking and creating. It's all dying and growing. And so, but people ride the roller coaster and it's like, it's so important and it's so this and it's so that. And they run it up the scale of doom. And, it's just the drama of it all. Everyone loves the drama. And
Oh
it's just
yeah,
like,
it's like imagine if
just,
we found there was a giant asteroid heading towards Earth, then all of a sudden all the reds and all the blues would be like, well, that doesn't matter. We've got to worry about this. They'll realize how insignificant little squabbles around political ideals are in the grand scheme of the universe.
what would you do if you heard that there was a meteor coming to hit Earth?
I don't know, go shoot the basketball with Tommy, go out to a park somewhere. Like, I don't know. I'd probably get some information, like basic stuff, like how big is it? Is the whole place going to explode? All that. But at the end of the day, it's like I just keep doing what I'm doing. If the world ends, the world ends.
I'd be straight down to the Nash to
Shoot
play.
that under par round before it all ends. Imagine that. Imagine that. You got like three holes left and you're even par, and the thing's like getting real close and starting to burn up in the atmosphere. You're like, quick, hurry up. It's like, do you
And then
remember,
you,
was it Caddyshack? What movie was it? Where the dude shoots the round of his life in the pouring rain and the thunderstorm, then he gets
yeah,
struck by
yeah,
lightning at
yeah,
the end and dies.
yeah. It's just about to hit Earth, and you hole out for eagle to get one under or something from the fairway, and it all finishes. Have you heard that story? I think it was Jim Carrey when he was on holiday in Hawaii, and they received a text message saying missiles are coming in to Hawaii or something, and everyone's going to die. And basically, that's what to get to a shelter, and he's like, "All right, so this is it." And he said he just sat there and he felt the most peace he'd ever felt faced with the imminent ending of it all. And then another text came through saying, "Oh, sorry, false alarm." And he's like, "Oh." He said it was a real interesting experience.
Yeah, you're making me think. I remember chatting to someone, I think it was a client many years ago, and I was just discussing their past with them. I think it was the first time we'd connected, and they had tried to end their life previously, and just been through depression, anxieties for so long. And then they were just telling me their story, and they got to this point where it was all too much, and they freaked out, and they went and just took a shitload of pills that would normally be of the amount that would kill someone. And I'm like, what was that moment? What was that moment like after you'd swallowed all the pills and that was it? And she looked at me with complete certainty, goes, it was the most peace I've ever felt in my life. That it was all just
Mm,
going to come to an end. And she ended up luckily, surviving, had a stomach pumped at hospital and that kind of thing. But same kind of thing. It's like this complete acceptance of the
mm.
of the ending of your
It's
reality.
absolute surrender.
Yeah. So was that a hoax or something? This bomb, saying the missiles were coming?
No, it was like the National Defense System or something. And there was a glitch in the system, so it just
That's
accidentally
quite a
sent out this.
glitch.
It's
Someone's
accidentally
losing their
sent out
job.
this text message.
April Fools.
I did it.
Isla's fucked up again. That was her previous job, Defense Force of Hawaii. Now she's your fucking assistant.
I'm gonna have to change your name to Jeff. My name's Jeff.
Remember him, Jeff? Oh, how interesting.
I had a interesting moment. I saw a video ages ago of it was like a security camera in a bar in America, and there's this dude sitting at the bar, and then there's a couple of dudes, and there's a bartender, and this bloke walks in with a gun and holds the joint up, and it's like the bloke closest to the camera just didn't exist. He just didn't flinch, didn't acknowledge, didn't. partake in the thing, just sat there and just kept drinking his beer, lost in thought. And it was like this whole scenario was happening around him somehow. And he was just giving it no energy at all. And it was fascinating. I don't know why. I was sitting in a noodle box yesterday waiting for lunch, and it came to mind. And I was like, imagine if a gunman walked in here, what would I do? And like part of me was like, the first thing that happened was like, I'd feel compassion for this person. I'm like, oh, mate, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you have to, you know, go and rob somewhere to survive. I'm sorry you got that going on in your life. And then sort of the army training part of me kicked in. It's like, no, just grab that and do this and do that. Like, no, I wouldn't. And then, yeah, that movie, and I'd probably just sit here and just go, mate, go. You do you. And
Yeah, I
yeah.
wonder if that guy in the bar was just completely equanimous, or maybe he was blackout drunk and he didn't actually know what was going on.
He was in that full acceptance and was going to kill himself later that night. So he thought, oh, someone's here to do it for
Yeah,
me.
this isn't a big deal.
Yeah. So that came to mind yesterday in this imaginary scenario that I had going on. It was like, if it's your time, it's your time. So I was like, how would I feel if I was confronted with death? And I was like, I think I'd feel. That's okay. I actually had it play out. I was saying to the imaginary gunman, I'm like, sorry, mate, I'm a bit too far down the Buddhist track and reincarnation and everything. So, this is just a page for
Yeah,
me. It's
I've already
time
had
for the
my
next
soul's
one.
learnings in this lifetime, so do what you got to
Yeah,
do.
pretty much. Pretty much. And it was like, oh fuck it. It's been hard, man. Like there's been some real hard moments in this life, and
This guy's like,
um,
shut the fuck up to shake him when he's down. I don't want to know about your fucking life. Give me your money.
and then in the background, it's like dumpling ready, dumpling
Yeah.
noodle ready.
Yeah, no, I don't.
DoorDash dudes coming in.
We don't know until we're faced with it. I'm very blasé about my own mortality, but then I wonder like because in that moment the survival instinct of your body will would kick in to a degree, and how much would you be afraid? I had this chat with friends a while ago. I remember these are just sort of old friends, not on this kind of path, and they were so shocked because we were talking about like living longer and living forever. I'm like, that's a fucking terrible idea. They're like, what do you mean? Like, wouldn't you want to wake up next to Mel and Tommy, for the forever? I'm like, no. I'm like, it sounds
Mm.
lovely. Imagine waking up to your missus in 350 years' time. It's like, for God's sake, enough's enough.
And every vampire movie, none of them are happy.
No,
You
they're
know?
pale. They're not
Yeah.
happy at all. They're
They're all
depressed.
angry. They're like, oh, still
Like they
another
want
world
to die, but
war.
they can't.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So it was, as I said, I wish everyone would experience fame and
I
fortune so
think
they
it's Jim
can.
Carrey.
Oh, was that? So,
Yeah,
so they can realize how
that it's
not
not
great it
it.
all is.
It's not
Yeah.
it. It's like everyone in society's, watching their screens and looking at these people that are famous and going, "Oh, I wish I had that." While all the people that are famous are like trying to get away and have some privacy and have a normal life. It's like it's so funny. Humans just wanting that thing, and the other people are wanting the thing that they've got, and neither of them are happy, and they're trying to get away from their experience.
What we to Em the other day something, and she goes, "Oh, I just want a stress-free life." And I was like, in my head, I'm like, I wish I had a magic wand to give you that just so you could feel how that's not what you actually want. Like you want that in the moment because you're not enjoying, the pressure and the stress that we've got going on. But that's, as soon as you had a week of no stress, you'd be like, well, you'd just be stagnant. There'd be,
So, so I'll fill you in because I'm having that at the minute, right? And I was literally thinking about this morning in the shower. It changes from week to week. Things always happen, but right now this week I'm like, I got no stresses, and I remember thinking this morning, I'm like, this is pretty fucking boring. But then I have to catch myself and go, don't, because most people they're normally a bit unconscious of it, but they'll go then create drama to feel that.
Yeah,
So at the
yeah.
minute I'm literally having, I'm like, I'm not gonna
Just
go out
enjoy
and
the
purposely
peace.
create drama. Yeah, I'm just gonna try my best to enjoy the piece because something will happen in the near
Yeah,
future.
this too shall pass. Whether it's peace or chaos, they're
Yeah.
both going to pass. So I
So
had a client
tell them
yesterday,
it's not all it's cracked up to be.
and you tell her. I had a client
I'll just
yesterday.
message her now, completely no context, and it's not all what it's cracked up to be.
I'd love that. That would be so good. Um, a client yesterday who's got some challenges, and as clients do. No,
Imagine they come in, Nick, I need help. What's wrong? Nothing.
all right, I can help with that. Um, so yeah, he's got some stuff going on, and it was really easy from my luxurious seat of objectivity to reframe things for him because he's like, oh, this and the house hasn't sold and da da da, and I'm under all this financial pressure and everything, and I just wish it'd sell and blah blah blah. And I was like, all right, yeah, I can hear you that would be challenging, and sorry you got that going on, but you've also got a beautiful relationship with your kids. You and your ex have a very amicable and healthy relationship that you've worked very hard on through the last 18 months. You've got family there that are supporting you at the moment. You've got three investment properties. You're sitting in a nice car. You own your own business. Like, playfully, please explain to me again how hard you've got it. And he started laughing. He's like, "Ah, it's just every time I come in here trying to have a pity party, you just don't
You won't join me.
you won't enable it. You won't facilitate it."
He
And
wants
I'm
you there
like,
with a little party popper, you know.
and a little violin. Um, and yeah, and that's what he needed. He needed someone just to shine a light on all the things that was going well in his life. So
Yeah, yeah. I went through a bit of a grieving process because I kind of came out of my hard time in jail and all that. Everyone knows about the checkered past that I've had.
oh, was that movie? Will Ferrell played you, I think, in Getting Hard, didn't
Anchorman.
he? No, Getting Hard, Get Hard.
I haven't seen
That is
that
the
one.
title of his. That is the title of his sex tape, but
Rockhard
it's
Ryan
also
Hassan is my wrestling name as well.
it is also a Hollywood movie where a white collar criminal has to go to jail, and
I
so
wasn't a
he
white
hits
collar criminal.
he hits the streets and goes into the hood to get trained into how to handle prison, and then he spends like 24 hours in there or something.
So
It was a biopsy
that
of your
actually
life.
sounds pretty similar. And
So
I
what were you grieving? What were you grieving
because
after
I
your
got to a point
hardcore?
where I built the life that I always dreamed of, and it was
What
nice.
a
Like,
crack living in a crack den.
no, that's what I came out of. Like my life now.
Ah, oh, right, yeah.
And when you're in the like when you're down, you envision something. There's something in the future, something better. And we kind of, and this is one of the reasons why I think people believe in heaven and stuff, right? Without getting a lot of people offside, it's like I need to believe there's something better because I can't believe that this is just it, right? And then I sort of created the life that I always wanted and everything. And then I realized it's better than the other life, no doubt. But it's like, it's not, I don't feel like fucking euphoric every moment of the day, And so I realized quite a few years back, that it's like, there's nothing else. Like, there's no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow that's going to fix all your problems and make you, you know, euphoric all the time. And so then I had to go through a grieving process of like, there's nothing, like, there's nothing else to latch onto. And at that point, I can go and believe in heaven, and then I'm going to or I can become Muslim and think I'm going to get 20 virgins after I die in the clouds or some shit. But at the end of the day, I just went, no, I'm just going to grieve the fact that this is life. And sometimes I feel good, sometimes I feel bad. There's no magical fantasy in the future that's going to make it all amazing all the time.
Was it a bit? Did you start going down the nihilistic path a bit?
Yes.
Like
Yep.
it's all,
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Yes. And I can see
Oh,
that's a slippery slope. That's very easy.
mm,
Determinism, nihilism, it's very easy to go in there because it makes a hell of a lot of logical sense. And I have a very analytical brain. So it's like, how do
mm.
I'm trying, and I'm still trying to work it out, but I'm trying to balance not obviously wanting to go down everything's meaningless path, but also I'm not choosing to go, okay, there's this greater thing coming either in my life or after my life. Just trying to sit with, well, this is it.
Well, I've been in an interesting period. Like Mindfit's been booming for ages. It's just I haven't had to do anything to it, and now it's sort of gone into a bit of an inevitable ebb. Um, and when you're booming, you sort of I guess your spending habits match the boom, and so we bought the property in Queensland and had a car up there and a car down here and golf memberships and blah 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 and um, yeah, when it all starts to go, reduce, you're left sort of, oh well, I've still got this life to sustain, this life that I've built. Um, but it's been fascinating on a couple of different levels. For me personally, I didn't realize I couldn't really see. I didn't have enough distance from myself. I did a lot of the time, but I couldn't see how I'd stopped doing the work to some degree. I was doing the work as best I could, but because of the pressure and the overwhelm and the overstimulus and all that, I was getting a bit. Um, I don't know. I said to Em, I feel like I've got caught up in being the teacher and I've forgotten to be the student. I heard a client one day talk to me about something they dealt with really well. It was beautiful how he just said, "Oh, I just turned up and did this." And then this very gentle voice in my head was like, "He's doing better than you." Not in a destructive way, not in a judgmental way, just this beautiful gift of awareness. It was like, and I was like, oh, yeah, right. I've I had to be really compassionate towards himself. And I was like, yeah, there's a lot of contributing factors that are, part of why I'm not managing myself the best I can and why I'm probably having not a great ripple effect into the people around me. Um, so I didn't beat myself up at all, but it was just this wonderful awakening again of going, and I had to give it all up and I had to you know. And so the life that I'd built, we put Queensland on the market, and we just accepted an offer for that on the weekend. Um, and Em and I were in a real rough patch, and then I just had to give that up, and it was let it be whatever it was going to be, and we've come out of that beautifully. Gave up my golf membership, sold a car, it's all this, and it was all just stuff. And when you're in that position, you realize that what's really, for me, what I realized, what was really, the source of happiness comes from being so present and being in the moment with everything and being connected to what's happening right in front of you. And the rest of it's all just,
Stuff.
yeah, it just makes up the periphery, really. So,
And did you like, was that just an internal surrender? Did you start some sort of practice again personally? Did you start like seeing someone to bounce off, like that kind of thing? I'm interested for myself too, because I'm kind of in a space I haven't done any, well, I guess you do the work, but like, not a lot of work with anyone else or anything. And I'm kind of wondering at the minute whether it's something I do.
no, I mean, I see my counselor every couple of months or whatever, just for a catch up. But again, he's great, but he doesn't know. He's not there on a day-to-day basis, and he can only work with what I'm sort of turning up with. And um, so, what did I? No, it was just an internal. So, like, it was M was saying she didn't feel safe around me, and not physically. Although with these
Yeah, I
pipes.
don't feel safe now. Jesus Christ.
And it was more because I was. Uh, the way we all have our thing. We've all got neuroses and double-edged swords and that, but M can tighten up and get a little bit controlling of things, and like that's going to be there. I'm not doing why you're doing this and that. And so I'd been very reactive to that. I'd been sort of affected by that, and you know, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So she goes that way, I go that way. And then I'm there judging, criticizing, and not being mean, not being nasty. There was never any malice or anything like that. But so yeah, it just got to this place where I was like, all right, I've just got to listen to her and I've got to trust her and I've got to say she's right because I was defending a lot. I was like, what do you mean? Da, da, da. And it was all ego. So over, I don't know how many what period of time, but my ego had sort of slowly gotten in the driver's seat and had adopted this position of authority. Um, and I thought, I was, and it was really weird. I was like, I thought I was in there, but I wasn't. Well, I wasn't. Um, so anyway, I just spent a couple of weeks just giving up, and it was like, all right, I've just got to let everything go, and it doesn't matter. And I listened to a Ram Dass episode called Yoga of Relationships, and I just listened to that on repeat, just over and over. And have you ever seen the movie The Princess Bride?
No.
It's got Andre the Giant in it. It's a classic. Watch it with Tommy one day.
Okay.
You'd love it. And it's a cult classic. But the premise of the story at the start, there's a farmhand working on a property, and the daughter is beautiful, and being the staff is not like really allowed to talk to her. So whenever she asks him to do something, all he says is "as you wish." And couple of years of this, finally she cottoned on. Every time he said "as you wish," he was actually saying "I love you." And then when the penny dropped for her, they hooked up, and it's a beautiful love story, but with giants and eels and pirate ships and everything.
Okay.
And yeah, so I adopted that. I was like, my God, this beautiful woman in my life, who I'm so fortunate. She is amazing in so many ways. I was carrying all of these stories in my head and all these applying meaning and interpretations, like the distortions, all the Myndfit stuff was right there. But I didn't have enough space from it. So I just dropped it all, let go of all these stories, and I was like, this woman is my guru. She's revealing all of my impurities, and it's for me to be of service to her and to stop having so many opinions. And I went from that end of the spectrum to full surrender. So I went to the other end of the spectrum, and I was like, right, I've just got to. There's nothing here, nothing she could do to hurt me because there's nothing here to hurt. Like I had to be that empty. I had to get that empty, which really freed me up. And I was doing this all for me. I wasn't doing this for Em. It was obviously the relationship was going to be whatever it was. But I really wasn't content in how I was operating. I wasn't fun. I wasn't loose. I wasn't light. I wasn't, you know, silly, I feel is more common for me. So yeah, it's this amazing experimental experience of just becoming completely empty, and then I could recalibrate and find center again and come back into balance. And yeah, it's been as soon as I did that, we got an offer on Queensland, and as soon as Em and I came back together, like it just things started moving and shifting again. It was very interesting.
Yeah, yeah, the energy change. What did the dynamic feel like when you made that shift, when you went from one end of the pendulum to the other? Did Em notice it?
Uh, yeah, but she had her own stuff going on, so she was probably in a very similar position to me. She couldn't see what she was. Yeah, her interpretations of me and what I was doing were very, very distorted as well. So we're both, we couldn't look after each other because we weren't looking after ourselves. So yeah, when I did this, it was really confusing for her because I went from that to this, and she was like, she didn't trust it to begin with. She wasn't
Yeah.
sure of what was happening. But I've had to do this a few times through my life. It was like get these growing pains, and then you get to this, you reach this certain point where you've got to give up, and that's the next evolution. The only way I can really describe it.
Yeah, it's like it's balance, I think. It's like any area of our life, it gets out of balance in one direction, and then we have to become aware of and be willing to surrender and often go to the other extreme. And then we kind of come back to the middle there. And then some other area of our life will do the same. Maybe the pendulum's this way in the other area of life, and we have to go to that way and then find center. And so we're really just trying to find balance in these areas of our life. But it
But
takes a lot of, yeah, go.
when you're with a partner and you're in a relationship, the two of you need to be in balance to make sure the relationship's in balance. But because Em and I, everyone has their differences, and um, you know, she's trying to transition out of one career into the other, so her financial capacity reduced. So she went that way, and I went that way, and so with all that pressure and everything, as my client yesterday was experiencing, I shared my story with him. Um, that, but it's weird. Like the ideal, I guess, is for two people to be in the middle. But when one goes left and the other goes right, that still creates a balance. The seas if it's a seesaw, if we were both left, that would be problematic. If we were both right, that would be problematic. But she was left and I was right, or the way around, whatever. Um, so we still kept going. We could
Mhm.
still keep moving, but it was unsustainable. And that's the
Mm.
problem both people are at an extreme, it's unsustainable. And we reached that point, and I said to her, like, either we need to separate, or we need to break up, or the dynamic of our relationship needs to break. Something's got to give, something's got to break. Um, and but it was weird because I kept feeling into it. I'm like, I couldn't find it within me to leave. I couldn't find it within me to step out of the relationship and say goodbye. I searched for it, and I explored it so deep. And I'm like, it's not fear of being alone. It's not fear of losing anything. It's all just stuff. It can come and go. I've been through it before. There was no anxiety or fear. It was just love. It was just
Mm.
this. It was so revealing. I just loved this woman so much that there was no part of me at all that was like, "Yep, okay, I'm going to leave." It was just, and I wanted to find it because I wanted to be able to give that to her. If she couldn't call time on it, I wanted to be the stronger one and go, all right, well, yeah, we're going to separate. But I couldn't fucking find it. It didn't
Mm.
exist, which I'm so happy about because, and you can only find things like that in the dark, so many people going through mental health struggles or whatever, or through crisis. That's where a lot is revealed, and you find sort of things that you didn't know existed.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Being able to discern what was underneath. Like, because so many people would do something through a fear of being alone or fear of something else, but being able to sit with that and go, no, it's actually not that, and being really honest about it too. And also, that's why relationships are so hard because, like you said, you have two people that are out of balance oftentimes. Whereas, like, if I have my relationship to money or my relationship to my physical health or something, it's just my balance. Like that other thing isn't changing. That is what it is. Whereas another human
Yeah.
being has their own things that get out of whack and their own stuff that happens. So it just makes it so much more. I think there's just more variables in play,
Mm.
which is why it's such a great area for growth and truth and all of that.
The Dharmic fire. So yeah, looking back now, you can see it clearly, and as I said, I had to keep looking at myself with compassion and not beating myself up because it was, I heard myself saying, "Oh, I just." you don't understand me. I had this need for her to understand me. I had this need to be understood, and needed her to do this and that. There was just this neediness. It was all coming from this insecurity or lack of being grounded, properly grounded within myself. Her opinion mattered so much, and you know, when she'd share her perception of me, and it was so far removed from from my perception of myself. I try and wrestle her and change it. And that's what she meant by she didn't feel safe. I was
Mm,
in a literal sense trying to change and manipulate her. I was
yeah,
trying to change
manipulate
her
her
mind.
reality or her perception of reality.
Yeah, to
Yeah,
be more like mine. And I'm
yeah,
like, oh, hello, ego. How are you?
yeah. Hello, dude. Not fair.
Yeah, yeah, dude he's like a ninja. He was so sneaky and
Sneaky is
subtle
the
and
word. Sneaky is the
yeah,
word. We were doing a
yeah.
class the other day on the inner critic and which is part of the ego, if you like the makeup. And we were just talking about how sneaky it can be. And when you think you've got eyes on it and you think that you've got it over in the corner and you're in your what we call it the adult self, it'll just sneak its way back in. And before you know it, there it is at the helm of the ship.
And you're just having these little adult tantrums and stomping your feet because you're not getting what you want and you're not feeling loved and liked and it's not all perfect and she's not doing this and you can hear how outsourced the happiness was and it was it was so it was I kept laughing. I'm like, this is horrendously beautiful. And that's the only way I could describe it. It was a living hell. It was so hard and so challenging. But because of the work I've done and the growth mindset and the tools I've accumulated over the years, I was like, but this is awesome. It was horribly awesome. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, I think it's really human. It's honoring that. I've talked about it with people with grief as well. It's like when you lose someone in something or someone you love, like, does it hurt? Like, yeah, it hurts heaps. But there's also, I've been in grief and I'm like, it's hurt so bad, but then it's felt so incredibly beautiful at the same time.
Yeah.
And so it's like trying to wrestle with
Well,
that and go, how can it be hurt so bad and be beautiful at the same time? And it just is.
I shared it. I think I shared it with you after my grandma passed away, and I walked out the back and just had this moment, and I was bawling my eyes out, but it was just love pouring out of me. It was just gratitude. It was a surreal experience because it wasn't grief as I knew it. It was just love. I was just like so thankful to have had this person in my life, and I don't think I could have had that experience without doing the Vipassana retreat because
Mm.
that's where I had to learn to love um, the fact that people exist, and I've come into contact with them, and when you inevitably lose them, um, yeah, it was just the work I did there was after my divorce. It wasn't about my ex-wife; it was about her niece, who I formed a really strong bond with. She was 3 years old, and sitting in meditation for 10 days, I realized, oh, I'm fine about the X. And I think I handled myself really well there. But I had to let go of Violet and just love the fact that I'd had, the time I'd had with her. Um, so, yeah, having done that work there gave me the capacity, I think, to have the experience I had with my grandma.
Yeah. I remember a friend of mine years ago bought a farm, a big bit of land out near Warrigal Way.
That
And
was me. Oh, Warrigal, sorry.
and he had spoken to the local Aboriginal elders in the area. He wanted to respect their traditions, so he had them over and said how's best to look after land and whatnot. And I was just driving past one day, and I'm like, "Oh, Marco, you around?" He goes, "Yeah, come over." And so I went over to his place, and he had this Aboriginal elder just sitting on the couch, and it was great. I was sitting next to him, and we were just chatting and everything. And then he had to leave, and he was only there for like maybe half an hour or so. And he goes to me, "It was nice to meet you, brother." He said, "Do you know the Aboriginal dot paintings? Have you seen those?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "We are all painting one of those paintings with our life, and everybody that we come across in life is a dot on the painting of our life. And from today, you're a dot on my painting, and I'm on yours, brother." And I'm like, okay. And it was just, it was beautiful, and it was just like, I'm like, I'll probably never see this guy again, or I will, I don't know. But it was just great to have that little interaction. And we have that with people.
Yeah.
Sometimes where they're a dot on our painting that's 50 years, sometimes 2 years, sometimes a week. It's
They're a
all just,
big dot or a little dot.
yeah,
So
some
yeah, yeah.
some jagged dots on there.
Violet was a little dot, and Grandma was a big dot, but it's without doing the work on the little one like that. It's like 5 kilos and 500 kilos without being able to, because it takes more strength to let go than it takes to hold on. So I had to cultivate the capacity and find the strength to let go of Violet. And having done that, then you keep letting go. So when something big like Grandma happens, I've got that strength to let her go and just to, instead of feeling pain. And grief's really interesting because it's so selfish at times. It's like, what about me? What am I missing out on? How am I going to live without this person? Why did they leave me? It's there's a lot of ego involved in grief a lot of the time. So, to have that experience with grandma, all I felt was just thank you, just what a gift.
Yeah, yeah. I'm so glad you existed and you're in my life. And we
Yeah.
only grieve because we loved. So it's like that's beautiful. We got to experience being love and being loved. It's like it's trying not to make that a selfish practice and wishing someone's around forever. And it's like that letting, like it's talking about like letting go being like a muscle, that we can work
Mm.
on. It's like, can I let go of the fact I was cut off in traffic and I was 10 minutes late to an appointment? It's like, yes, I can truly let go. And then you can build some resilience. So when something big happens, like you have a big blow up with your missus or, a friend, accuses you of something, it's like, okay, maybe I can let go of that now. And if you can't, that's okay too. You just know that, okay, I've got a little bit more work to do in working this muscle of surrendering and letting go to what's present.
And if you can hear the language that you're using, like they did this to me, that's 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 where you can start. That's what you got to let go of. All right, they didn't do this to me. They did this, and it's their thing. You know, I've got my own thing going on. I've taken whatever that I've done, and I've made a personal narrative about it, or I've really identified with it, or I've picked it up and started carrying it. Now I've got to put all of this stuff down because it's their stuff. It's not my stuff,
Yeah.
and I can still love them with the fact that they've got their stuff. That's the best part of this is like Em is not a perfect being. On in terms of what my ego was desiring and wanting. But coming out of that, she is perfect. Everything she does is perfect. It's and when you can sit there and keep looking at that through that lens instead of the distorted lens, it's just like, once again, there's nothing there to hurt. She's not going to do anything to me. She's on her journey. She's living her life. She's got her karma. She's got all her experiences, everything. If she says anything and I get upset by it, then that's my problem,
Mm.
not hers. She's just the source of stimulus. That's finding something in me.
It is. It's extreme ownership and responsibility of your own experience. I had this lady in the one of our Facebook groups or whatever, and then we had a call coming up, and I'm like, you can tag everyone, and she's wrote this long message. Some people don't like to have me tagged everyone. We might be doing this and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, here are some things you can do. You can turn off notifications for at everyone. You can leave this group. You can, and then I'm like, you're in charge of your own experience. But that's what so many people are doing. They're going, here's the keys to my happiness, as you would put it. And let me, every time I get annoyed, tell you how you've made me annoyed and how you have to change. And I won't take responsibility for my life.
So essentially, it's your problem, love. Just sort it out.
Yeah. Hope she did.
Me too.
Hope she's
Or she
annoying
didn't.
someone else in a different group. All right.
Um,
Beautiful, mate. Thanks
I,
for sharing a lot of, that personally. That's listeners are going to get a lot out of that because we all have these issues in relationships and other areas of our life. And, if someone can take away that it can be, what do you call it, horrendously beautiful, or
Well, as Ram Dass calls it, it's grist for the mill. There would be no point me sitting here. I chose not to go to a monastery for this very reason. I chose to stay here because there would be absolutely zero value in me having these experiences and coming into all these insights and understandings and awakenings and learnings and not sharing them.
you got the
Like
shaved head
it's
bit sorted out though? You're halfway there. Or is that unintentional?
that no, that's correct. There's nothing here to hurt, Ryan. You can't
I'm
touch
not doing it
this.
to hurt you. I'm doing it to make myself laugh.
It says more about you than it says about me,
That I'm childish.
which is something I love about you. So I'm looking forward to
100%.
playing golf with you tomorrow. That's going to be
Yes,
exciting,
me too.
and we'll be childish together on the morrow.
We shall. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope you took something out of this episode. Nico, thanks as always, and we'll see you all in the next one.